and welcome to the program. Last month, Ukraine revived its goal of joining NATO by making membership a key foreign policy priority. Today, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has been in Kyiv, where Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko announced that talks on a membership action plan had begun. What does this mean for Ukraine and security in Eastern Europe? Joining us is Sergei Nizhensky. He's the head of the strategy department at the Secretariat of Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine. Sergei, thank you for joining us. So you were in the meeting with President Poroshenko and the NATO secretary. What was the general atmosphere in those talks?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that really NATO project in Ukraine, it's a big respect and big support from the main alliance for Ukraine now. Because as you know, one of the fifth objective of our strategy 2020, it's defense and security and protection of Ukrainian sovereignty and territorial integrity, securing safe environment for the citizens. This is priority for government and of course for president and for prime minister. That's why the visit of head of NATO, it's really big signal for support, and a lot of now journalists sign and talk about this big signal for the support Ukrainian reforms, and this is really nice green light for government, as for me.
Now, President Poroshenko at a press conference during the NATO meeting, he spoke about a membership action plan. What would be some of the main features and obstacles of a plan like that?
Well, as you know, the main strategic plan and action plan, this is our Ukrainian obligation of Ukrainian bodies we call RNBO. And as for me, Mr. Turchino maybe give more information and comments about that. In my opinion, like first of all, citizen of Ukraine, this is really nice chance and nice opportunity to see how European society, how London conference give results of support of all reforms of Ukraine. And as you know, today NATO opened in Kyiv city museum of NATO. It's like first step for understanding what does it mean NATO for Ukraine. What does it mean modernization of military? What does it mean support and respect of all European community? For Ukraine, as for me, it's really big deal for peace and for correct steps. And I hope this is our first main visit of the head of NATO, like support of our road to correct defense and security reform.
Mm-hmm. Now, we know that Ukraine now wants to join NATO, but previously it also expressed a desire to join the alliance during previous administrations. But during that time, there was a sizable opposition. Now, considering Russia's war in Ukraine and the conflict in the east of Ukraine, what opposition do you think that there will be to NATO membership this time, both from within Ukraine and even maybe from other NATO member states?
Well, as you know, since 2004, Ukraine doing a lot of steps to NATO community, and before 13 members got exception from NATO community during 3 years. Ukraine waiting more. But anyway, we have a lot of discussion about discussion between NGOs and government about NATO. We have a lot of discussion between government and the European community about benefits and about positives of this of this connection. But anyway, it's difficult to it's difficult to comment globally about this question. But anyway, as you can see, Russia waiting very sensitive our steps, and until Ukraine government have support from European community, until we are one team, because today it's Ukraine, tomorrow it can be Poland or other countries. That's why our family, European family, this is one family, community, and we should to keep this and secure our family from any aggressions from the east.
Now, what do you think Russia will do to prevent Ukraine from joining NATO? We know that from previous attempts, it did put a lot of effort on Yanukovych's administration to stop NATO membership talks. What do you think Russia will try to do this time to kind of prevent this sort of situation?
Well, of course, I remember the time when during 2010, 2012, I was working in Cuba from Ukrsspecexport, Ukroboronprom, when I represent Ukraine in some military questions. And I remember time when like trade representative of Ukraine, a lot of Russian spies come to Ukrainian office. They doing a lot of bad movements because the was main aim. It's a contract between Russia and Cuba. And I know what does it mean if your legal job and legal peace behavior destroyed, and how it's working this situation. Of course, same behavior. For example, from myself, I'm waiting from some Russian spy representatives. We call it like that because two weeks ago they thought that if they killed our real big patriot from our special forces in Kiev.
The colonel that was killed, yes.
Yes. That's why they suppose that Ukrainians scare. Unfortunately, I want to say hello to everyone of special guy here in Ukraine that we are smile and do everything that all our citizens, our mothers, sisters, and all families will be in safety, and nobody can make something better from cannot make something bad to our family, and we are still making this reform, and we are still be independence.
Committed to this path.
Yes.
Now
yes.
I have just a last question here. NATO membership is a long way off, but let's say theoretically, if Russia creates a kind of frozen conflict scenario in eastern Ukraine and in Crimea, like we've seen in Georgia and Moldova, what does that mean for NATO obligations and aspiration? Will NATO be obligated to assist Ukraine in these theoretical frozen conflicts?
Well, the main function and ideas of our communication between Ukraine and NATO, it's of course protection of our territorial integrity, our securing safe environment for the citizens, and in general our sovereignty. After Revolution of Dignity, Ukrainians maybe it's impossible to make some other steps about scaring Ukrainians or doing something bad steps. About Crimea, I cannot. I don't know exactly information now of our special RNBO strategy security steps. Anyway, nobody forget Crimea situation, and of course we have plan.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you very much for joining us today on the program. That was Sergei Nijinsky. He's the head of the strategy department at the Secretariat of Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine.